like to open this meeting of the Board of Assessors at 6:02, and we are being taped by the West Bridgewater Community TV, cable TV, community TV.
I put the appointment on the agenda for 6:05 for Ms. Deborah Cawley,
Okay.
but there's no reason why the board can't take that business up immediately. Just-
Well, it's like, what, 4 past out there, yeah. So we're all set for the open for Ms. Coley?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
She wanted to discuss the letter.
Yeah.
She said,
It's all set.
Should I come up there or should I stay here?
Whatever you want. Yeah, come up here. Let me get this away here.
I sent you a letter that I guess you got at the meeting for June the 5th. And I'd like to know why you just didn't read it and get back to me, or why you didn't respond.
I responded by mailing it back to you because I make it a point, I've had in the past, not from just you, but other people either email me or call me at home regarding the business in the hall here. And if I was doing this full-time and such, I'd probably, pay attention to that. But we're an elected official and we conduct our business here. Any correspondence, and I have gotten stuff, I've been here, 14 years. So I've done it in the past. And all I was gonna say about it, any business that I get at my home front door, to me, it comes in front of the board. That's all. That's, I haven't made that agenda public, but that's what I do. It doesn't happen that often, but I've had emails and phone calls, and the phone calls that make me too happy. But, I can't be reached here, it's tough, so I don't really blame them. But it's the same thing, that any business conducted, as far as I'm concerned, with the board, at least from my perspective, is done right here at the, in a meeting twice a month.
Well, then my second question would be, how would you know that it's not something that should have maybe gone to the executive session if you didn't read it?
Well, then we would determine that here. Once you came in and said, you want to discuss, for example, my property value or something like that, then we can make a determination that that belongs, in executive session, so you'll have to wait until we get to executive session.
Okay.
I wouldn't, we would make that determination, if I opened it up, we read it, we could have, but where I don't do that until, we have the meeting here. But that could always be, that part of the meeting could always be, reconvened in executive session.
Okay. All right, so since I'm gonna talk about what was in the letter now, I'm not gonna talk about all of it because that would just take too much time. My first one would be regarding the May 15th meeting, when John called everybody that was sitting over there at the peanut gallery. I wanna know why you didn't speak up to him about calling us the peanut gallery.
And I just didn't.
Well,
I just, I'm not sure I'm going to answer these questions, and I would just say that, obviously it's, on the TV here, it's on the camera. I just didn't, and a lot of stuff that goes on, good, bad, or indifferent, I don't respond to it.
well, it was very inappropriate and unprofessional for him to do that. And since you're the chairperson, something should have came from you.
It can come from the rest of the board. The chairperson is not the babysitter here. The board is capable of saying, geez, we disagree with what John said. They can speak for themselves. I try to be the chairperson. I try to be the gatekeeper when my expertise is involved here. But in something like that, which, concerns the taxpayer, the board is free to make their opinions known.
Well, you didn't make an opinion known.
Yeah, right,
And I find it very sad that the people in this town can't sit over there and not be called things, because we're not the peanut gallery. We are not.
You can talk to John. I don't think he meant any.
I don't need to talk to John, because
All right.
as far as I understand, you're his boss. He's not your boss.
The Board of Assessors is John's boss.
That's
Not
right.
me, not her, the board.
Right.
So on that, what I just said a minute ago, any remarks that John makes, or any of the board members out of tune, out of hand, if another board member disagrees, or, you know, like I said, good, bad, or indifferent, they're allowed to speak up.
Okay, so then my next question would be, why when Paula, who is on the board, asked John for his comp time stuff, why do you say to him, oh, it's okay, because I have you working on the appellate tax board case, and
Well,
find an excuse for him not to do it when it could only take no more than 5 minutes to fill out the
Yeah.
timesheet.
yeah,
And I just want to know what he's trying to hide by not filling it out. And since you're not making him fill it out, what are you trying to let him hide?
I think you're making assumptions.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
not making an assumption.
I think
I'm
you
just
wanna
seeing.
all I know is part of that, and I'm not in depth, I'm not in that conversation every day. All I know is that a lot of that stuff has been redundant. I don't know how much, I know a good percentage of it is, so I'll let them work that out. Again,
You told him he didn't have to do it because he was working for
no, I
the
didn't,
appellate
I
tax
didn't say,
case.
no, I didn't say that he didn't have to do it. I don't know what I said, but all I know is a lot of that stuff has been redundant, and those two can work it out. Maybe they have, maybe they haven't. I don't know what's been done, what's been said, but I was led to believe that, I'm not saying it's intentional. Sometimes, you know, I've done stuff with John that's been redundant. He's done stuff for me. So when it becomes redundant, and it's probably important to them for the calm time and such, obviously to the board, but when it becomes redundant, it's not cost effective. So what we try to do is, we try to do that job best we can. If something falls short, then you or somebody else can bring it up and we can deal with it. But again, I'm not here to babysit. I was told something else been redundant. I figured they can work it out.
And may I just interject 1 second? And no, I still have not received anything, and Maureen's still waiting for her stuff too.
Direct that at him, Paula.
I have, and he looks at you.
And you said it was okay, because he's working on your appellate tax.
Okay.
The overtime information has been submitted to the entire board. You know that.
And that wasn't the current stuff, that was for the previous
No,
year.
both of them were.
No, not what I received.
Well,
Why
That,
not both
we
of them?
had this conversation at a meeting before. It was back in April.
you should check your package. It was put in your
I
package.
did not have it in my package,
I'll give you another copy. I've submitted that, Mr. Chairman.
I know you have.
because you emailed me something, and you're right, you did email me something, but it was for the prior year, and we talked about that. I think I mentioned it at a meeting.
I don't want to repeat myself, but I will say it one last time. I submitted all of my overtime information to the board members in your packets. If you didn't get it, or if you misplaced it, I can get you another copy.
Well, then I would like another copy,
I will
please.
get that for you.
And since we're closed tomorrow, can you send it to me Friday?
I will get it to you as soon as I can. I'll get it to you as soon as I can.
It's just an email, can you just forward it to me on anything?
I don't want to put myself in a situation where I say, yes, I will, and then you'll send me an email and say, you didn't send it, you promised it to me. I promise you I will get it to you as soon as possible.
By when?
Mr. Chairman, are we here to hear Ms. Colley, or is this just?
Yeah, we'll let Ms. Coley finish up.
Well, no, absolutely, and I apologize for
That's fine.
taking the stage, but Steve said for us to point it out, you know, that's for these two to work out, and it was brought up, so, yes,
You're repeating yourself, and I'm repeating myself, and I said, I submitted it to you, you didn't find it, you misplaced it, whatever the case may be, I will get you another copy. But it's been given to you once already, and I will get it to you again. Period. I don't really know why we need to get today, tomorrow,
It's- Johnny, just as soon as you can, that'll be good. Yeah.
That's all I'm saying,
That's all,
Mr.
yeah.
Chairman. I don't want to be put
Yeah.
in a position, as I have been before, by some individuals to say, oh, you promised it by this day, and I got it a day later. How come it's a day late? That's all, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
I mean, isn't this really what is the gist of what's going on here?
You're right.
Now?
Go ahead. Sorry.
It's all right, because I just, like, I come here and, like, I feel like you guys should work as a team, and sometimes I don't feel like there's a team going on with the three of you, because sometimes you go from starting to talk about something, and then all of a sudden you're voting on it, but you've never discussed about, you know, to had a discussion to be voting on something before you jump in and say, I second it or whatever. Like when you wanted to be the chairperson again. I mean, I don't care who's the chairperson, but she's like seconding it before she can even say if she wants to try to be the chairperson or not. And I feel like it's a healthy thing to have a conversation and you get different sides of different perspectives of what other people are thinking, and it can make the board a better place. I just think that it just seems like certain two are always against a certain one, and it's frustrating to see how that certain one is treated. And like sometimes when that one wants to say something, she gets shut down, and I want to hear what she has to say because it's interesting to me as a resident, because I'm not going to say I know a lot about this assessing business, but you know, like you can really only learn it if you come here and watch you guys, and you know, you talk about things and stuff like that. And you know, like I feel like you just like rush over things maybe, or don't want to have a discussion about certain things. And I just think that working as a team would make it a better environment for people even like me sitting here right now, because I feel like people already have a prejudgment against me here. And you know, that's just my feeling. It doesn't make it true, but I just want like a discussion and people's opinion validated for what they have to say. Whether you accept that opinion, it doesn't matter. Just, you know, to validate that you hear that person saying that. Because one day it could be Cheryl saying something and she'd want to be validated, or you might want to be validated. So why can't that be like everybody being validated for their opinion about what goes on at the table? I mean, I just think that some of the things that I've seen should not be on videotape. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to me as a member of the town, and I'm sure it's embarrassing to other people that watch it on the hub. And I'm just making you aware of it, because I have heard things about the meetings on the hub and stuff, and I'm not sure if you're aware of it, but it is embarrassing to the town, and it goes on YouTube, and then it's everywhere.
Did the embarrassing stuff, did it include two residents of the audience getting removed by the West Bridgewater police and being totally disruptive? And
I was not really being disruptive. But that's
just
all I
like
know.
just like you, I have my opinion. We
Right.
had to call the police, and you staying in the corner, you know, didn't want to return to your seat. And
Was
then
sitting
in
over.
both cases, the officer talked to me. It was my call, and I said, you know, no harm, no foul. Let him return to the seat. So I don't think it was that bad, but that was certainly disruptive. And there's been other things too. So we all have our own opinions. Just try to do the best job we can.
Well, I'm just giving you my opinion.
You're entitled. Yeah. Okay. Next.
I think that's where I'm gonna leave it,
Okay.
because apparently what I have to say doesn't really matter, because you still don't have nothing to say to him about him talking to us so rude. So
I didn't even
And-
hear that night.
you didn't hear him call us the peanut
Oh,
gallery.
I didn't hear it, no.
Because Denise stood up right there and said it was very
Yeah, I didn't know
inappropriate.
what she was talking about, because I didn't hear it.
Well, maybe you should watch that meeting on YouTube, because it's there.
Well,
No, it wasn't, 'cause I
there was something
listened.
said.
It wasn't said.
Oh, yeah, it was cut off. I'm so sorry.
That's
Cut
why
it
I
off as
listened,
an
because I didn't
executive
hear it.
session.
Yeah.
But he said it. So I'm done.
Okay.
Assessors report.
Please.
Happy New Year,
Happy FY20.
FY20.
Huh?
So we've been closing the books for fiscal 2019 and beginning the fiscal year 20. And I just want to bring to your attention, there's a split payroll because it's the end of the fiscal year, so
That's why the July checks are always the late ones. Yeah.
a little bit late.
Yeah.
And I'm asking you to sign a blank check on the end of fiscal 19 in order for me to work with Tammy to calculate how much she wants to be paid in her overtime. She's told me she has a range of, she'd like to keep 50 to 66.83 hours on the books, but she wanted a little more time to think about that. So I talked with the town accountant. The town accountant told me she'll be entering payroll on Friday, so as long as I get a word back from Tammy by Friday, I can add that amount, but I just want you to know, it's not on this sheet right now, and if you wish, I can email you and tell you what the amount is. Other than that, if you would just sign.
There's not a huge discrepancy there, is there?
No. It's just,
Yeah.
she would like she'd like to be paid out some OT, but she hasn't decided on
Okay.
whether she wants to keep 50 hours on the book or up to 66 hours on the book. So she'll let me know.
And what, the rest you'll carry to FY20?
Yes, exactly. And we received a draft version of the proposed website hosting the assessors maps. So I'm doing some review of it. It came in yesterday. I've been reviewing it a little bit today. Found a few anomalies that I will get back to the
And
company about.
who's the parent, who's the parent in that, the parent company in that?
ACI,
Yeah, what we're using now?
yes.
Yeah. We did have confused, we did have Ty and Bond before, right? And we, yeah,
Yeah, so they're the same vendor that updated our maps the last 2 years,
right.
and under contract to update our maps this year. And they also are the same company that developed the web hosting
Yeah.
software.
Can you, I was thinking about, just quick hashback on that little debacle with the center of town, knowing that layer wasn't on there, but somebody says, we screwed up because it's not our deal for one thing. It's the layers that they put on from the aerials on the pictometries. So somebody says, hey, the center of town, the island is not even on there. That's a simple layer of, municipal whatever. So before somebody is critical again, they don't understand. Sometimes I don't understand. I try the best job I can. Maybe once you get that down pat, maybe a little better understanding
Sure.
of the fact that why you might not see something that you thought might be on there is because it's not, like I said, up in Newton, I was ready to jump out the window, but they didn't have the meets and bounds and they weren't gonna put it on
The
there.
footage.
Yeah, so,
So guess what the first thing is that I looked at?
center of town.
You betcha. And guess what's on there?
Dunkin' Donuts?
Yeah, and Cumberland Farms and CVS.
Yeah.
But it also has what I believe are the center lines of the street and what I believe are the improved part of the street, in other words, where the pavement is. And it also shows a couple of areas that would indicate where the monument is. And,
Now-
the second thing I looked at was up by Route 24 and 106 where the parking lot is, because that's also white space on our hard
Right.
copy assessors maps, and that information is there also. So I think people will be pleased with the product that they see.
One thing, maybe you've seen this, maybe you haven't. We did something for the town of Norton a few years ago, and I was still a young rookie at that stuff, and we made a big deal of some encroachment, but it was the way they overlaid that. It had a building, according to the GIS or the Oliver or something, on the overlook, it had a building about 6 feet on an adjacent parcel. I was appraising that for the town, so I said, you don't have clear title. And, Fitzgerald didn't stop me, and it was our bad, because the way they overlaid, not our bad, but I read, I should have done my check-in. When Oliver overlaid that, the improvement, it was just a stickler or something. It was, it was so close, it was tight to the property line, but they had it sitting 4 or 5 feet. And so I got sideways on it, and it wasn't like that at all. It was my bad for the fact that it looked like that on the overlay, but it wasn't like that at all. So just be careful of that stuff too.
Absolutely positivity, and you know what each map says on it?
right.
The disclaimer
Yeah,
is
yeah.
just for assessment
Yeah.
purposes.
Don't use this for clear title, right. I said, we can't do this assignment, you know?
And the real improvement, the real benefit that we will see from it, other than the public having access to our maps 24/7, will be that we can do the abutters list using that software.
Sure.
Probably reduce the time that it takes us now
Yeah.
by 80 or 90%.
Do those maps, do they show all the improvements? Does the site show the improvement? Because sometimes they don't, that's good.
Well, just to be clear, they do for the ones that have been mapped. Not all of them have been mapped. Not all the improvements have been mapped.
That's not like from an aerial, you know?
No, it's not from an AOA. That's drawn in by GIS, either by our vendor or the water department did most of it. They just.
I mean, because now with that stuff,
Doing the bulk of that work.
I'm counting parking spots in these big plazas I'm doing,
Yeah.
you know, and that's more accurate than me going, 8, 9, 10. It's wonderful. you know.
Yeah, we'll get there,
Yeah.
baby steps, but
Yeah.
I'm really enthused. And once I test it and sign off on it, then it will go public.
And that's updated with our FY, with our chunk outs and all that stuff, deleted parcels. Our office keeps that annually updated.
Yes, and because we have the same contractor for the assessors maps, we can probably update that every 3 or 4 months, every 6
Well, it depends if you get the deeds and all that, and how you get those things. But at least, on the FY, on the annual basis is a wonderful thing. And onto our online mapping, that'll get updated.
Yes,
Yeah, that can be a problem too sometimes.
yes it can.
Yeah, but thank you. Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, so you have Attorney Jake Creedon as a tax rep coming in to meet with you 2 weeks from today
On what?
on Cedar West. He's the attorney representing the new owner of the property. As you know, that property sold. FYI, so that'll be important in 2 weeks.
Well, we have to, we should get the early years adjudicated before we go to the new, we gotta do that. I don't wanna work backwards on it.
I have more information that I want to discuss in executive session.
Right,
I'm
yeah.
simply telling you that
Yeah.
you'll be meeting with them too.
How did Jake get that one? You know Jake?
Yeah, I do. I'll talk about that later too. The Plymouth County Assessors Association Cape Cod Canal Cruise is Wednesday, July 17th from 6:30 to 8:30. And the UMass Amherst School is August 5th to the 9th. That's all I have for my
Okay.
report. You do have some other warrants and,
For signing?
yeah,
Yeah.
for signatures. I don't think there's any motor vehicle excise in there. And then, other than that, Mr. Chairman, I would recommend that you entertain a motion to go into executive session for the purpose of discussing applications for abatement and exemption relative to Purpose 7, Mass General Laws 59, Section 60, and review and discuss strategy for pending appellate tax board cases under Purpose 3 and 7 under Mass General Laws, Chapter 59, Section 60.
And just
And not to come back into executive session.
sorry. And before
Yeah.
you go into that, the payroll, I was gonna sign it, but yours isn't filled out. The girls are.
Uh-huh.
So I'm assuming you wanna get paid.
Yeah.
I guess.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I am so generous with my time. Thank you.
We all set? I'll make a motion to go into executive session for the purpose that John just mentioned. I'll need a second on that,
Second.
okay? And we'll go with the roll call into that. Sessa, Bunker,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
McCarthy, yes.
6:26.